Welcome, welcome. We are broadcasting live from Seneca, New York, in beautiful Seneca Falls.
The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex.
What a better time to be celebrating the centennial by attempting some historic jumps, and hopefully that will encourage people to then learn more about the history of the women's suffrage movement and the 19th Amendment.
I love skydivers celebrating the centennial to take to the sky and use their skills and knowledge, portray the strength and the organizational potential of women.
How cool is it to be able to jump into Seneca Falls, the birthplace of the women's rights movement?
We want to show that everyone can do it and help everyone get into the sport, show them that they can. Just keep raising that bar of equality within skydiving and equality at large. Welcome everybody to Seneca Falls, New York and the Highlight Pro Skydiving team.
Here today doing a demonstration jump celebrating and elevating women's suffrage and equality.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carolyn Chow. I'm a skydiver and resident of New York State. I'll be your host for today's commemorative event. In honor of and in accordance to New York State rules regarding the COVID pandemic, we are social distancing, we're wearing our masks, and we're hoping everyone in the crowd who is here to watch today is doing the same. Please make sure you're social distancing. We want to ensure the safety of everyone at this event, including our jumpers who are about to jump out of their airplane. So today we're here in beautiful Seneca Falls in front of the National Women's Hall of Fame. And we're here to broadcast the Highlight Pro Skydiving team's commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which made the women's right to vote possible. We are here to encourage everyone to use your voice to vote. If you aren't registered to vote, on the screen right now, there are some web links and QR codes that you can use to visit websites to get registered to vote. If you are watching on a PC or a web browser, you can easily use a smartphone, open up that camera, put the camera on the QR code, and that QR code will lead you right to a web link to register to vote. If you're already registered to vote, great. Make sure you exercise your right to be heard, because the right for women to vote has been a long-fought battle that started here in Seneca Falls, right over in Wesleyan Chapel across our street, and it started in 1848 at the Women's Convention, first ever in the United States. So today we're here to witness an incredible skydiving demonstration event. The mission of the Highlight Pro Skydiving team is to inspire women and girls to live bold, brave lives of their own design. The Highlight Pro Skydiving team includes 11 women who are elite athletes and champions in the sport of skydiving. Collectively, this team of elite athletes has over 200,000 jumps and averages about 20 years in the sport of skydiving. The team is comprised of entrepreneurs, nurses, full-time athletes, published authors, and mothers. And interestingly enough, women are only 13% of the skydiving population. And that makes this particular group of elite women's athletes extremely exceptional amidst a male-dominated sport. And unfortunately, the sport of skydiving isn't alone in being male-dominated. So opportunities for women in major businesses, technology, engineering, science, and medicine have been tough professions for women to break into. So all the more reason that we are proud to have the Highlight Pro Skydiving team here today demonstrating their skills on this jump to literally highlight social and professional equity causes, like promoting the women's right to vote and equality for all. We also want to be clear, as a team, we know that the 19th Amendment realistically only paved the way for white women to vote. And it wasn't until the Voting Rights Act of 1965 where Black, Indigenous, and people of color, including Latinx and Asians, were able to vote. We stand with our sisters and brothers of color in the fight to end racism and racist acts. We must learn from history and take notes on the struggle that the women and the suffragettes fought to make equal rights happen over decades, and in the case of racial injustice, centuries. And one of the most effective ways that we can change and to hear the voices of all is encourage everyone to use their vote as a way to amplify their own voice. So this team is really promoting equality. We promote equity for all, and the team is particularly inspired by the fight it took for women's right to vote, which required considerable perseverance and even protest. In the mid-1800s, American women actually had very little say in the decisions that greatly affected and governed their lives. In rare cases where in the mid-1800s, when the women's suffrage effort began, lives for women included limitations on, in the rare cases if divorce was granted, custody of children was often granted to husbands. If a woman was put on a trial for crime, the fact that women were barred from serving as judges or juries meant that they couldn't be tried by a jury of their peers. And a woman was pretty much considered her husband's property. She was not allowed to own property. She wasn't even allowed to open up a bank account in her own name. Additionally, in professions like being a teacher, nurse, seamstress, or housekeeper were the only types of work that were available to women, and their earnings were paid directly to their husbands. And women were not admitted to graduate schools, including law, medicine, business, or education. So gaining the right to vote became all the more important for women in the mid-1800s. And interestingly enough, that fight that started in 1848 here in Seneca Falls took 72 years before we were able to ratify the 19th Amendment. The commemoration of the ratification of the 19th Amendment represents so much about amplifying the voices of those who seek equal rights and to have the voice in decisions that affect more than those who are in positions of power. And so today's jump, we are going to be seeing 4 out of the 11 team members jumping from a perfectly good airplane, and they'll be very visible. We're going to see them with banners, smoke cans, And we've got, the jumpers are out and you can see the canopies. This is so exciting. So what you're going to see is the colors of the suffragette movement, okay? Purple signifies loyalty. White signifies the purity and the quality of the movement's purpose. And gold, the color of light and life. It's the torch that guides the purpose, pure and unserving. So right now we've seen the jumpers jump. They've all got good canopies. And you'll see that they're flying with flags, streamers, and smoke. A little information about each of the jumpers. We've got Carrie Bell, who comes to us from Washington State. She's got over 13,000 jumps. She's a drop zone owner in Washington. She's the safety and training advisor. She's a pilot, and she holds multiple world records. Carrie is joining us today and jumping the 100-year centennial flag. You'll see two jumpers jumping the streamers of the suffragette colors. Those jumpers are Kaz Sheikey and Melanie Curtis. Kaz comes from New York. She's got 10,000 jumps. She's a Flight 1 canopy coach. She's got 12 championship medals and has been in 5 World Cup championships and cups. Melanie Curtis has 11,000 jumps, and she's the co-captain of the Highlight Pro Skydiving team. She's a professional skydiver, a life coach, a speaker, and here comes Carrie Bell, as she's coming in. She's flying that flag and she's entering the landing area. Great landing, Carrie. So you'll see Kaz and Melanie coming in. Melanie is also a published author, coach, and speaker. Here comes Kaz, streaming the colors of the cause, coming in for her landing. Excellent. Nice landing, Kaz. And here comes Melanie Curtis on her downwind leg of her landing pattern. While she's coming in, I also want to say, in addition to the fact that these are elite women skydivers, the amount of training, preparation, and skill it takes to land their parachutes with these square canopies, their ram air canopies, it's incredibly amazing to see them jumping and landing in such a small landing area. Great landing, Mel. And up above, we see Maxine Tate. Maxine comes to us from the UK and has recently become a US citizen. She has 8,500 jumps, and as a professional skydiver and coach, she's also on Team USA Speed Skydiving as a competitor. She holds 3 world records, 3 European records, and 3 national championships. Maxine is jumping with a smoke can, perhaps. And it looks like maybe the smoke already has run out, but here she comes on her landing. She is also flying the Vote canopy. Here she comes. Excellent landing. Oh my gosh, amazing skill on this landing. Okay, as our skydivers are cleaning up their canopies and getting ready to be interviewed, I'm gonna go ahead and move these microphones. Congratulations, skydivers. Highlight Pro skydiving team. All right. All right. So as the skydivers get ready to clean up their canopies and get ready to walk over here for their interviews, I also want to go ahead and introduce Melissa Nelson Lowe, who is helping with bringing in the canopies. Melissa is a world champion skydiver as well as a yoga instructor, a parent, a published author, and she has served today as the ground crew for today's team jumping. We could not do this jump without her. All right, here comes Melanie Curtis, co-captain of the Pro skydiving team. The team also jumped Votes for Women flags and banners. Yeah. All right. Mel, congratulations on an amazing jump.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I don't think it's on.
It is on. Can you
All
hear me?
right, there we go. All right, welcome, Mel. You have a lot of fans here today watching you jump in. What do you feel is the most important message you'd like to share about the Highlight Pro skydiving team?
It's next to impossible to pick one message, honestly, and I say that with really owning and honoring what we're doing and what we're here in specifically Seneca Falls for. The history that is here, that's found here. One of the things I think is the coolest is that there's a statue down the road where a happenstance meeting between Elizabeth Cady Staton and Susan B. Anthony took place, and that started the women's rights movement. And we're across the river, from Wesleyan Chapel, and this is where it began, the birthplace of the women's rights movement. So it's our honor to be bringing attention through our art, our medium, to those conversations today. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie. Up next, we have Carrie Bell. Carrie, congratulations on an amazing jump. What would you like to say to all the girls and women out there who might be considering their first skydive?
Well, first of all, we just want to let everybody know we're so happy to be here. And this is just an amazing opportunity for all of us to get to jump into such a historical place. But hey, if you're looking at wanting to be a skydiver, I can say go for it. There's many skydiving places across the world, across the country. Look up your local drop zone. Give me a call in Washington State if you ever want to, or any of our other girls at their local drop zones. And come skydiving with us. It's not as scary as everybody thinks it is.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carrie. I just want to add that I was licensed in Washington State, so. All right, next up we have Melissa Nelson Lowe. Melissa, ground crew, amazing jumper as well. What does it mean to you to be here for the commemoration of the 19th Amendment Centennial?
I think it's absolutely amazing to have an opportunity to literally highlight a part of history, a history that's so important for us being here today to have the privilege to vote.
Excellent, yay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Kaz Sheikey. Kaz, what does it mean to you to be on the Highlight Pro skydiving team?
Really, to be on the Highlight Pro skydiving team is really a dream come true for all of us. To be able to use our passion for skydiving, to be able to spread positive messages to hopefully big crowds and get important messages across to people. And then we get to jump into a place like Seneca Falls, 172nd anniversary of where the women's movement began. So a complete honor. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations on a great jump. Next up, we have Maxine Tate. Now, interestingly, Maxine just became a U.S. citizen.
I did.
So, Maxine, congratulations and
Thank you.
welcome,
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Congratulations on an amazing jump. Thank you so much for being here. You flew the smoke cans and the beautiful colors throughout the sky. Go ahead and tell me, as a new citizen, what does the right to vote mean to you?
Well, we're celebrating a centenary, and we're celebrating my 1 year as an American citizen. And the very first thing I did when I came out of my citizenship ceremony was to go straight to the booth to register to vote. And it's the very first thing I did as an American. And as a proud American female immigrant who now has the right to vote, I'm very much looking forward to using my voice in November for the very first time. And it was a deep honor for me to fly the flag and the canopy that had vote on it. So let's use our voice. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Maxine. All right. So what you've also seen is that each of these jumpers has signed the flags that are on the ground. And as a token of appreciation for our supportive partners in helping to make this jump and commemoration happen, we'd like to welcome Andrea Decoder. She's with the Women's Rights National Historical Park. We'd like to present to you one of these banners. And Andrea, would you like to say a couple of words?
Yes, thank you. On behalf of the National Park Service, it's my great honor and privilege to be here today to witness this and accept this banner. We're celebrating a couple of amazing anniversaries this year. We have the 100-year anniversary of women getting the right to vote in America. 172 years ago this weekend, nearly 300 women and men also gathered across the river at the Wesleyan Chapel to hold the first Women's Rights Convention. And the prelude to this convention was Elizabeth Cady Staton meeting with 4 women friends of hers, and she said that she challenged them to do and dare anything. Well, I think today this team did and dared anything, so you certainly lived up to that incredible legacy, and I want to congratulate all of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Yay. Andrea and her daughter, Aria. All right. Next up, we want to thank Jean Giovanni. She's the chair of the mill and the restoration project to make sure that the Women's Right Museum and the National Women's Hall of Fame is newly housed in this building, as well as Kate Bennett, who is chair of the board.
Thank you so much. This is so inspiring to have women jumping. We started more than 50 years ago the National Women's Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls, where history happened. And people of Seneca Falls wanted to make sure that there was a way to honor great American women. And we are so happy and proud that we are about to open in our new building, which is a mill building that has been renovated through the work of countless volunteers and persistent people. We showcase great American women. We have celebrated 287 women to date. I don't believe we have a skydiver in the Hall of Fame yet, but everyone can nominate for the next, the 2023 nominations, so are nearly open. So please, for all of the jumpers, we have a copy of our book, Inspiring Women, that tells the story, courageous stories of people who saw possibilities more than just options. They really understood that they could create a new world. So we are honored that 172 years after the convention, you have jumped to celebrate the right to vote. And we are proud to be here, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kate. I can think of at least 11 amazing women to nominate for the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we're having Melanie Curtis again come up and share another one of our amazing partners.
Yeah, last but certainly not least, we want to thank the Women's Suffrage Centennial Commission, who has been, gosh, such a valuable partner and just so supportive. They've helped us every step of the way make connections and get us just in the lives of the right people. So we are grateful, and they're doing so much around the country that's not just supporting our project, but so many other things that are helping educate the country on women's suffrage and hopefully inspiring all generations to, as Maxine said, use your voice and use your vote.
Thank you so much, Mel. We hope today's demonstration and partnership with the Seneca Falls Women's Rights Commission, as well as, sorry, not the commission, but I'm just so excited, the Hall of Fame and the Women's National Park Association. We'd just really like to, we hope we've inspired you to vote. We hope we've inspired you to use your voice to be heard. And we're going to put the information for how to register to vote back on the screen. Please visit the websites. You can also visit websites to find out when local elections are happening in your state. And on behalf of the Highlight Pro Skydiving team, thank you for joining us on this jump in commemoration of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. We hope you vote and that you stay safe.